Hey guys, welcome. Today we're going to see about the starting of a main engine. The engine that we're looking at right now is a Hitachi BMW make. She has a power of 4760 with an max RPM of 200. Now, for any engine, for a marine diesel engine, it mainly requires of four systems. The first one is the lube oil system, and next is the fuel oil system, the cooling water system, and the compressed air system. Now we'll check each of the systems before starting any engine. The first one is we are going to check the lube oil sump level, which is indicated with a dipstick over here. We just have to open the dipstick. So this guy here is the dipstick. This shows the amount of lube oil in the sump. Usually there are two markings on it, one indicating the minimum and the other maximum. To be satisfactory, the level of lube oil should be between the minimum and the maximum level. So this takes care of the sump lube oil level. The next lube oil that we are talking about is the camshaft, which is actually located in a different room. We have already checked it and it's satisfactory. Third one comes the cylinder liner lubrication level, which can be seen over there, the small yellow tank. That's the cylinder lube oil level. So that's a separate tank. For cylinder lubrication, a separate high quality lube oil is used, and it's usually burnt in the engine. There is no return line for it. The next is the compressed air system. We have a big compressor here and the air bottle, which is in the adjacent room. So this is the lower angle, that's the main air compressor, and this is the main air bottle. So that's the main air bottle. For any main engine, the minimum air pressure for it to start should be about 30 bar. So that compressor is going to compress air up to 30 bar, and this is the start air line, which is connected to the engine through a reducer. Next, we are going to look for control air. Control air, we use it to close the exhaust valves. Without control air, the exhaust valves won't close. There will be no open position. So this is where we get our control air. It's usually of 7 bar pressure, and it goes to the exhaust valve for springing the exhaust valve. So next, which is the most important thing, the fuel oil system. There is a fuel oil tank situated there, and through the booster pumps and the supply pumps, the fuel oil is supplied. Fuel pumps, unit fuel pumps. Let's go. Here, this is the fuel injection pump, and this is supplied by the booster pumps, and from the booster pumps to the fuel pump, and from the fuel pump to the distributor block, and distributor block to the injectors. So this is the fuel oil system. We have checked it, and now next is the water system. Our main water jacket cooling water system starts from there. That's the expansion tank where you can add any fresh water, and then from there it directly goes below where there is a heat exchanger, jacket cooling water heat exchanger. In here we have a shell and tube heat exchanger, and the seawater usually passes over the tubes, and jacket cooling water passes inside the tubes. From there, after passing through the heat exchanger, the jacket cooling water goes through each unit. The pipe is located down below, and we'll look into it later. Okay. So this is the exhaust manifold. We'll come to it later. Now we're talking about starting with the main engine. Okay. Now we checked lube oil system, water system, fuel system, and compressed air system. Now what could be next? The next is the indicator cogs. Before we start the engine, we have to purge the engine through compressed air. We have to actually remove any kind of gases which is inside the cylinder prior starting. So this is the indicator cog. This should be in the open position before starting. So this is the indicator cock. We're going to open all the indicator cocks, and once that is done, we're going to engage the turning gear, which can be seen from here. So that red handle, the big red handle, yeah, that one, that is the turning gear. So what this is a small motor with a small gear. This is going to engage itself on the flywheel, and it's going to rotate the flywheel. The main reason for this system, first is to pre-lubricate the engine. Second is to, mostly it's used to pre-lubricate the engine. And the turning gear has an interlock. If it is engaged, the engine cannot be started. Compressed air won't go into the engine. Why this is done? Because the turning gear wheel, the gear is very small compared to the flywheel. So if the engine goes into its rated RPM, the wheel is so small, its RPM will increase tremendously and it will just fly off and hit somewhere. So for safety purposes, there is a turning gear interlock. Now we have engaged our turning gear, we have opened our indicator cocks, we are pre-lubricating the engine. Now before that, we are going to start all the pumps. We just saw the levels of tank level in almost all the tanks. Now we are going to start all the concerning pumps: fuel oil supply pump, booster pumps, fresh water pumps, seawater cooling pumps, and compressed air is already available. So we are going to start all the pumps, and the pre-lubrication phase is started. And now what are we going to do after pre-lubrication? Now we are going to give the engine, we are going to disengage the turning gear, and then we are going to supply compressed air to blow through. What blow through does is, it's going to supply fresh air to the engine, and it's going to throw away all the gases which may be present in the engine. Then we are going to start the aux blowers. So this engine right here, it has a constant pressure type turbocharger, and now we know that constant pressure type turbocharger works well at higher engine loads. So we are going to use two aux blowers to provide scavenger during the starting. So we have started the aux blowers, and the scavenger pressure is sufficient. We are going to open the scavenger drains to check if anything is coming out at all, and after that we are going to blow through the engine with compressed air. So once the maneuvering lever is put to the start position, compressed air is going to admit. Compressed air will be admitted into the engine. Now this is the local maneuvering stand that we are looking at here. Usually an engine can be started from three places. One is the engine control room, the local maneuvering stand that we are looking at here, and the third one is from the bridge. Okay, so usually before starting from here, the telegraph lever in the engine room and the bridge should coincide. They should be put to their local start position. Alright, now we just blow through the engine, all looks good. The last thing that we are going to do is close all the indicator cocks that were open at the top. Close all the indicator cocks, and then once compressed air is admitted in its firing order, the engine crankshaft is going to rotate. It's going to get into its rated RPM, like minimum RPM at which the compression is sufficient. And once that is achieved, we are going to change over to fuel. Now, once fuel is admitted, we can consider the engine as started. And we are going to especially check for parameters like lube oil pressure, exhaust gas temperature, and all other parameters like jacket cooling water temperature, inlet outlet temperature, pressure, and there we go, our engine is started virtually.